Hello and welcome back to Streets of Rage 4. The butt kickness is taking us to the bathroom at what ostensibly is a concert hall or someplace out near Oklahoma.
Except the Streets of Rage takes place in a coastal city. I mean, this is supposed to be effectively either Detroit or New York. But
You could very easily find a bar like this. Yeah, I'd say up and down the coast for motorcyclists. Actually, I imagine they would need lots of places spotting a certain highway or what have you, so that all these ladies here will know exactly where to park their bikes while they enjoy onion rings inside.
So, did they actually decide to reduce the amount of damage that throws do by upping the difficulty?
I think the idea here is the enemy attacks do the same amount of damage. Our attacks do the same amount of damage to them. Where the difficulty comes in is there's more of them, they have more health, and their difficulty AI also is maxed out. So they move faster, they attack faster.
But Cloud, if their health is the same and our damage, if their health is greater but our damage is the same, then effectively their health is greater.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's difficult because it is more likely you are going to get hit.
Come on, do the pool secret.
No, we can't do the cool secret. No doing cool secrets in Mania mode. There's too much running. Because
I said the pool secret, not the cool secret.
The pool is hiding an 8-ball. The 8-ball actually is pretty effective as a throwing weapon. Anything that you could throw is good. Oh
Holy shit, 7 fucking sugars at once?
They are maniacs on the floor. In their mania mode, difficulty down.
Alright, Caramel.
Sugar. Amazing damage. A lot of chaos action here. Just use your Z dodging in order to use columning to avoid the bikers' mostly horizontal attacks.
You know, looking at all these bikers here reminds me of when I was going through Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and I would just grab a motorcycle and either go onto the train tracks or one of the highways and just fucking go. I spent a good 2 hours one session just going on either the train tracks or the highway system on a motorcycle. You know, just jamming out to the radio.
Grand Theft Auto 5 also is a great game that lets you bike at high extreme speed while listening to cool music that is immediately interrupted with you getting the wasted game over screen as soon as you hit the train car. Hey, Roo.
Hi, Roo. The problem with Grand Theft Auto 5 is that half the map is not anywhere near as interesting as either the train station or the coastal areas of San Andreas.
Well, they all seem to be on the coast, you know, like this game, for instance, Streets of Rage, Coastal City, Grand Theft Auto, Coastal City. It's more interesting, actually, a lot of games I could think of just happen to take place on the coast. Legend of Zelda games, for example. We need the ocean, because it will actually differentiate the game enough in order to not bore the player with the same goddamn environments over and over again.
A home menu.
Sir,
ironically, Breath of the Wild only has one coastal area in the entire thing, and it's really weird because the Death Mountain is actually the end of a fucking mountain range.
Right, and then just like the Appalachian Mountains on the East Coast, there also would be, you know, ostensibly a mountain range, and the rest of the plate tectonics that set up itself above the water in the first place.
But Breath of the Wild is specifically supposed to be celebrating having such a huge open map, and then you get to the very most northern part of the mountain range, and then there's just this large chasm that you can't cross.
Yep.
It actually becomes part of the skybox at that point.
Part of the skybox. The world must come to an end at some point.
After all, the world is a vampire.
The world You cannot go this way. Turn back, young adventurer.
For the path you will take will lead to certain destruction.
And we just completely talked over the Barbin fight. But
we already saw the Barbin fight.
We did already see the Barbin fight, didn't we?
Yeah, and this is effectively the same fight. Just don't break the bikes in order to minimize his overall threat level, and throw him around.
His difficulty is the same. That if you had a good time with him on normal mode, you'll have just as good a time with him on Mania mode, provided you don't provoke his partners by not destroying.
So what are the score thresholds for the other ranks for Mania mode?
It's like they go by multiples of 5,000. So if it wasn't, so probably 25 or maybe even 20, 28, 32, just very small leaps and bounds. I think the highest threshold is like 30 grand.
Really?
On one of the longer.
I would think it would, with a C rank on 24, I would think that the A rank would actually be at 40. Or rather, S rank would be at 40.
Like, you can get as many as 50,000 boomerang time. Nice.
And your boomerang has been shattered. Hi, Floyd.
That you can get as many as 50,000 points on one level if you can get your combos up high enough.
And you can, manage to not die.
I kind of wish that they didn't give you just one boomerang in the entire game. That was it, Mr. Gurdett. Did you enjoy the boomerang?
Well,
did you enjoy the quick time event?
I did mostly because it actually has got piercing and return fire on it, which are really great steroids for any projectile weapon.
Right, and then maybe I'll take the sword and just repeatedly press the circle button in order to both throw it, then catch it, and then throw it again, and then catch it again. The boomerang will just naturally come back at you, prompting the press the circle button quick time event. But instead of spreading the joy to the rest of the game, they isolate it on this one level because I guess they decided that the only place where you could find a goddamn boomerang is in Chinatown.
Which is weird because we don't actually have any Australian delicacies being represented in this game, do we? I mean, aside from Roo, but Roo isn't actually a delicacy. He's just a bartender.
Yeah, he didn't actually. A rather terrible and unfortunate bartender at that. They probably couldn't put it in an E10 rated game, but I saw the beer dispensers and there were no taps on it. There were no heads. There were no levers. You could not actually pull the lever and pour beer. So Roo's clientele would probably just be doing cocktails pretty much all night. This track is bumping. It's party time when you're in Chinatown. I love the theme for this one. Almost makes it tolerable to get our asses kicked.
I can't hear it all that well, sadly, but it kind of reminds me of the, since I did just do a Labyrinth quote, it kind of reminds me of the cleaner sequence from the Labyrinth.
It's been so long since I saw that movie.
That's okay. David Bowie is a dead person now.
Yeah, he was awesome. And meanwhile, the living are having fat people thrown at them, and we decide that in the next part we will explore that. Well, life is full of choices. You can always press the pause menu. You can always hit the retry button.
You went for a retry.
We did a retry because that did not go quite as smoothly as we would have liked, and that sass was getting all up on our grill. And also for the interest of extending the playthrough, since this was our only other attempt at the level, and it did take us all to over, that now we're going for it. And I started introducing the next part. I did the end of the next part, thinking because we were approaching the moment because I scanned the video ahead, but not realizing that I was going to retry, and that's funny. So when we get back to that part, it just kind of sets the mood, and then you realize it's party time. Apple juice and root beer all around, everybody. Yeah!
I do enjoy some apple juice. I don't like root beer that much, though.
Yeah, just root. Maybe if there is such a thing as diet root beer, I would like to try that, though. And
Dude, root beer is already too goddamn light and fluffy. Why would you want a diet version of a light and fluffy soft drink?
well, because I would love to know their answer to the fluffy problem for a beverage that is supposed to literally imitate a head of beer when it pours. You know, you pour, especially when you pour a carbonated beverage over ice, it foams up quite a bit. Especially so for root beer. The problem is, part of that foamage is caused by the sugar content.
I know that they have got diet. Well, actually, I don't know if they have diet cream soda.
Well, they have. I mean, there's like they got like calorie-free syrups. Lemonade.
Not really the biggest fan of lemonade either.
And in the next part, as we proceed through the kitchen over here, as soon as their two favorite patrons are beaten and they go to sleep in a turkey coma, we are going to proceed through the rest of Chinatown during this rather awkwardly truncated part.
Be safe, everybody. And yes, I am not actually a gourmand.